Biblical creation is based on the Bible, where God created the universe and everything in it. Before we learn about the content mentioned today, please try to answer the following question. The question is, the formation of the Grand Canyon is believed to be related to which event in the Bible? A. The Exodus. B. The Tower of Babel. C. Noah's flood. D. The Sermon on the Mount. Time to think. Please give your answer in the comment section. The correct answer is in the comment. Please check it. There are plenty of odd things about the Grand Canyon, a spot renowned for its mesmerizing scenery and geological wonders, attracting visitors from all over the world. Although it's one of the most famous destinations in the U.S., the canyon has also been the site of numerous peculiar and enigmatic findings. Scientists have made significant discoveries at the Grand Canyon, and might be some discoveries will shock you. What they discovered will change the course of history and our knowledge about the historic structure. Number 1. The connection between Grand Canyon and Noah's flood. When we talk of the story of Noah's flood, we are talking about reality, not about science fiction or about fantasy. This flood actually happened, with an incredible amount of physical evidence which can still be seen throughout the world today, showing that it did indeed happen. This scientific evidence is also well documented. This flood was a far greater disaster than the sinking of the Titanic or any of the other disasters of the past. But most importantly, Noah's flood is believed to be related to the formation of the Grand Canyon. As what I mentioned, some people believe that the Grand Canyon's rock layers give strong proof for the biblical flood. The Grand Canyon was carved through a high plateau, exposing unique layers in the canyon walls. However, if we follow the layers into Arizona's east, we find the identical rock units approximately a mile lower in elevation. The strata are folded significantly in this place. Conventional geology holds that this uplift and folding occurred long after the sediments had formed into rock, resulting in substantial fracturing of the strata. But this is not the case. Instead, it appears that the layers, which are said to represent 300 million years of Earth history, have experienced plastic deformation rather than shattering. This shows that when the sediments folded, they were soft and unconsolidated. This defies Darwinian Earth history, yet it fits neatly with layers developing during the biblical flood and being bent before hardening. However, these statements still cause a lot of controversy in the scientific community, and people are still looking for more convincing evidence to prove their arguments. Number 2. Discovered fossil footprints force paleontologists to rethink early inhabitants of ancient deserts. Fallen boulder reveals 313 million-year-old fossil footprints at Grand Canyon. The tracks show 2 separate animals on the slope of a sand dune, according to National Park Service officials. They are believed to be that of a tetrapod-like animal, known to use a lateral sequence walk pattern. These are by far the oldest vertebrate tracks in Grand Canyon, which is known for its abundant fossil tracks. Stephen Rowland, a paleontologist at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, said in a media release, "They are among the oldest tracks on Earth of shelled egg-laying animals, such as reptiles, and the earliest evidence of vertebrate animals walking in sand dunes." The tracks were unearthed after a boulder fell from a nearby cliff at the Manacacha Formation along the Bright Angel Trail. When visited the fossil track, Francis Keeney and Dr. Spencer Lucas, curator of paleontology at the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science in Albuquerque, New Mexico, immediately recognized the fossil tracks were produced by a long-extinct relative of very early reptiles and were similar to tracks known from Europe referred to as Ichneotherium. This new discovery at Grand Canyon is the first occurrence of Ichneotherium from the Coconino sandstone and from a desert environment. In addition, these tracks represent the geologically youngest record of this fossil track type from anywhere in the world. Ichthyotherium is a kind of footprint believed to have been made by an enigmatic group of extinct tetrapods known as the diadectomorphs. The diadectomorphs were a primitive group of tetrapods that possessed characteristics of both amphibians and reptiles. The evolutionary relationships and paleobiology of diadectomorphs have long been important and unresolved questions in the science of vertebrate paleontology. Although the actual track maker for the Grand Canyon footprints may never be known for certain, the Grand Canyon trackways preserve the travel of a very early terrestrial vertebrate. The measurable characteristics of the tracks and trackways indicate a primitive animal with short legs and a massive body. The creature walked on all four legs and each foot possessed 5 clawless digits. Another interesting aspect of the new Grand Canyon fossil tracks is the geologic formation in which they are preserved. The Coconino Sandstone is an Aeolian, wine-deposited rock formation that exhibits cross-bedding and other sedimentary features indicating a desert or dune environment of deposition. Therefore, the presence of ichthyotherium in the Coconino Sandstone is the earliest evidence of diadectomorphs occupying an arid desert environment. According to Franceschini, these new fossil tracks discovered in Grand Canyon National Park provide important information about the paleobiology of the diadectomorphs. The diadectomorphs were not expected to live in an arid desert environment because they supposedly did not have the classic adaptations for being completely independent of water. The group of animals that have such adaptations is named Amniota, extant reptiles, birds, and mammals, and diadectomorphs are not one of them. Lucas also notes that paleontologists have long thought that only amniotes could live in the dry and harsh Permian deserts. This discovery shows that tetrapods other than reptiles were living in those deserts, and, surprisingly, were already adapted to life in an environment of limited water. Number 3. Petroglyphs and rock art from ancient civilizations. Exploring the Grand Canyon by floating down the Colorado River with Arizona Raft Adventures provides the opportunity to see signs of ancient life, including Grand Canyon rock art. The ancient Puebloan people inhabited the American Southwest 800–1200 years ago. They lived, hunted, and farmed in the Grand Canyon. Much of their existence remains a mystery, but if we study the signs they left behind, we can learn about who they were and how they lived. The number of archaeological sites in the Grand Canyon is stunning. In fact, researchers say there are 4,300 documented locations in the Grand Canyon where prehistoric clues have been located, and there are still sites to discover. These sites include evidence like granaries, kivas, pottery shards, and rock art. The geology of the Grand Canyon landscape and its tributaries provide an endless canvas for rock art. Petroglyphs and rock art are frequently observed throughout the Grand Canyon, as many ancient civilizations left their imprints on the canyon walls. While they're not exactly the most unusual things found in the Grand Canyon, prehistoric people lived in these lands for many years after all, they're undeniably some of the most fascinating history-wise. These ancient artworks provide insight into the history and culture of the people who inhabited the area well before the arrival of European explorers. Dating back to around 10,000 years ago during the Archaic period, the oldest petroglyphs in the Grand Canyon consist of abstract designs and geometric shapes, often found in remote and inaccessible locations. Number 4. No dinosaur bones found in the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon might look like the perfect place to go looking for dinosaur bones, but none have ever been found there, and for good reason. Dinosaur bones were never found. The reason for the lack of dinosaur fossils in the Grand Canyon can be attributed to the geological time period of the rock layers. Although the Grand Canyon's rock formations are ancient, they are primarily from the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras that predate and coincide with the age of dinosaurs, respectively. Consequently, the possibility of discovering dinosaur bones in the Grand Canyon is slim. Furthermore, the rock layers have undergone substantial erosion and geological activity, making the preservation of dinosaur fossils even more improbable. Number 5. Fossils in the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon, with rock formations that date back nearly 2 billion years, is a geological marvel. It is also a rich source of fossils containing a diverse collection of ancient plant and animal remains. Among the most renowned fossils discovered in the Grand Canyon are trilobites, which are extinct marine arthropods that lived over 500 million years ago. Additionally, other fossils discovered in the canyon include ammonites, which are ancient cephalopods related to present-day squid and octopuses, as well as brachiopods, bryozoans, and crinoids, which are all marine animals that lived millions of years ago. The Grand Canyon contains some of the oldest exposed rock on Earth. The mile-high walls reveal a cross-section of Earth's crust going back nearly 2 billion years. These rock layers have given geologists the opportunity to study evolution through time.